Maybe you should go and do some contemplating.
Right reason, right reason. Can't free girl for all the right reasons. Right reason, right reasons. Reason girl for all the reasons.
I'm the Bachelorette and I'm rapping to you poolside. Here to find true love, one man from my
Hi, this is Rachel McElroy.
Hi, this is Griffin McElroy.
And this is Rose Buddies.
Hi, Rose Buddies. Are the fans of our show called Rose Buddies, and have we discussed this before?
I usually refer to them as buddies.
I think let's call them the beautiful petals that compose the sweet blooming bud of our love. Period. End of thought.
What would that acronym be?
I don't know, baby. I'm so tired. Please. Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Because I'm on week 3 of making a television show. Can you just do all the jokes this episode, and I'll just sit here and just nod and be like, ha ha, yes.
That's a lot of pressure to put on me.
Like you say, like, yeah, and this boy, he was a real dweeb, and I'll be like, ha ha, yes.
I need to come up with some like really nice phrasings because I feel like part of your appeal on the show is that you have this really precise way of saying things about the contestants.
That's true, but I also have a lot of good catchphrases, and you could just use those if you want.
I guess I could just do, the formula is like...
Oh, I have I didn't even realize there was a formula to my comedic
Oh, no,
arts.
there is. It's like, good adjective boy.
Oh, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, so just work a few in there, and I'll be like, good one, babe.
Yeah.
I love, by the way, that you do, again, have both the office and bathroom doors open again. Give me just a fucking primo view of that John. Because I got to say, I've been away from that John for 15 days now.
You miss
even
it?
longer.
Miss it a little?
I've been gone from that John for almost 20 days now, and I miss it desperately.
I don't like to close the bathroom door when nobody's in there because I feel like it's a weird decoy. Like I would be home alone and I would see a closed bathroom door and still get nervous that somebody was in there.
I know, it's just beckoning to me. It's just beckoning to me.
Do you want me to close the office door?
No, because now I find it a comfort.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the Bachelorette Canada?
Yes.
Should we also at this point just say, hi, Bachelorette Canada? Because all of you are listening to our podcast now.
Yeah.
Which is just very humbling. Thank you all for supporting our endeavor as we support yours. But if you think we're going to not turn a critical eye onto your television program, you got another fucking thing coming because we are objective journalists. Or are we subjective? What's the good one? Objective or subject? I think objective is the good one.
Yeah, that's the good one. Can I tell you I was a little disappointed? Remember how I said there was a member of the cast that joined our Facebook group?
Yes.
He is no longer in the group. I checked today. So I feel like we can...
What happened?
I don't know.
He probably didn't. Maybe he heard some mean things that I said about his wardrobe in the last
I feel
episode.
like we could mention him now that he's not in the group, right?
I mean, he maybe still listens to the podcast, so I don't want to put him on blast. But like, I may have said some stuff that I regret, except I don't. I'm just saying it's not you; it's the wardrobe. Just you. There are better things you could have worn to showcase your beautiful, beautiful body.
I think he joined to see what it was all about, and then figured it out.
Got to take.
And then
okay,
left.
I'm done.
I didn't want to call him out when he joined because I didn't want him to get unwanted attention, but then he left.
No, good point.
Anyway,
yeah, let's not put him on blast. Let's just move on and just be cool with our superstar fan base.
I miss you, David.
I miss you. Oh, I thought you were going to say Griffin because I've been gone for you for 3 weeks. But yeah, David, I also miss you. Baby, come back. Let's get rolling.
I miss you too, Griffin.
I miss you so much. I get to come home in 2 days, though.
I know.
Tomorrow's going to be a long one, huh?
Yeah, you got candle nights.
Yep. And I got a TV show. We have a lot of TV show to make tomorrow and then a live show. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch of things that make me extremely anxious. But then I'm done.
You're not used to the TV lifestyle?
Oh, God, no. No. I mean, I know all the cool lingo, but that's about it. And by cool lingo, I mean 2 phrases about my bathroom stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
My contribution to the show is I make jokes about good adjective boys, and then I go to the bathroom one of 2 ways, and I let everybody know what those ways are. Let's burn this shit down.
It's a lot of insight into our relationship. You're just letting the audience in on.
Absolutely it is.
Okay. We are still in Sandals, Jamaica.
Wonderful.
And now it's just 13 guys.
That is not very many boys.
No. By the end of this episode, we're down to 11.
11, a cool 11 boys. And at the beginning, we have a baker's dozen boys in episode 3.
I know.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah.
This might be sacrilegious. Kind of like it. I kind of like the pace of this because there's no I know all the boys at this point, which is unlikely. Episode 3, I know all of the boys. There's maybe one or two that I know less.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one or two that I know less of, but I think I know all the boys though.
Well, it helps that 2 of them have the same name, I think.
That's true.
And one of them is named Benoit.
One's named Benoit.
Okay, so Noah, the host, arrives with a date card. And I gotta say,
yeah, I know what you're gonna.
He's no
gonna
Chris
say.
Harrison.
Well, he doesn't have as much time to shine. That's what I'm saying. He gets as much time now as Chris Harrison also gets now. Chris Harrison had years and years and years of person-in-person interviews and hitting the fucking pavement with these dateables.
Yeah.
And we don't get that with Noah. And so I don't know anything about
That's
Noah.
true.
I don't. Does Noah host Canadian Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which would translate to about who wants to be $614,000 American dollars heir? I don't know.
So it's a group date. As this group date is announced, we find out about David's nickname. David is the one who has not yet been on a date. And they call him Dateless Dave.
That seems mean.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't make fun of his jacket, though. So, glass houses and all that.
Yeah. So on the date is Mike, Drew, Thomas, Benoit, JP, and Scott.
For real, though, this is... Okay, never mind. I got confused about where we were in the episode. I watched this episode this morning, first thing as soon as I woke up at 8 a.m. So I'm a little bit foggy on the particulars. I'm very glad you took notes.
So it is a dance hall date.
And bye. There it goes. There goes the skeleton. My skeleton actually jumped out of my mouth and then flushed itself down the toilet, so I couldn't get it back.
They all meet on the top of a building, which appears to also kind of be like a basketball court or something.
Okay.
And one of the guys says that Jasmine looks, quote, stunning.
So if you're playing bingo at home, you now have every square checked off.
So on this date, I'm going to use a lot of direct quotes. The guys are going to learn to ride the rhythm with the Shady Squad.
Excellent. Yes, I was just about to say, if I was going to guess what all of these dudes were going to do, I was going to say probably ride the rhythm with the Shady Squad. Even from episode 1, I was like, some of these boys are going to ride the rhythm with the Shady Squad for sure.
So I thought for sure Drew's going to throw a fit. Drew hated the singing date, but Drew
He hates artistic expression.
Drew says multiple times in this episode that he is comfortable, quote, moving his body around.
Let me say this about Drew. He's a ding-a-ling ding dong. And I don't even care if he listens to the fucking show. Guess what, Drew? I think you're a ding-a-ling dong. But fuck, you can move that body though.
Yeah, he's real good.
That's the bad thing. I think he's a real ding dong, but shit, the way he moves that form, good Lord.
Do you think he incorporates that into his medical sales?
I think so. He's like, you want some insulin? I don't know. He's like, the price of the EpiPen's going up and up. I'm doing dancing because we have webcams on so Rachel can see me. It's entirely for her benefit and not for yours.
So the guys learn a little bit of choreography, and then they have to come up with this signature dance move to add on to that choreography.
And that is so what do you think is more cruel? Having them learn choreography and try to do it, or say, hey, come up with a signature dance move that really represents what you are all about.
I mean,
I don't know that I move my beautiful body in all kinds of wonderful ways. I think I would be hard pressed to create a signature dance move. It's just so much, there's so much on the line there.
Well, and a lot of them, I will say, draw liberally from existing dance moves. It's not
That's fair.
It's not as if they move in ways that human beings have never seen before.
Yeah, sure.
And so we get a few of the guys in varying stages of discomfort. Mike alerts us that he is going to make some faces and that he is going to try and be conscious of that.
And Mike, I just want to say thanks for the heads up, dog. I needed it because that shit was insane.
Scott is very stiff is the word they use. He just looks very, very uncomfortable.
That's a fair assessment of your style, Scott, my man.
Yeah. And this is when Drew kind of pulls us aside and tells us that he's willing to say that he's willing to agree with anything that Jasmine says as part of his technique in winning her over. He's like, oh yeah, I can say yes, I want that too, to almost anything.
Right. He is not reinventing the villain wheel with like all the shit that he's saying. Like, in fact, I think he's like, it's pretty rote as far as like Bachelor villain shit goes.
Yeah, it's like mustache twirling, you know? It's like classic reality show. Like, I've got a sinister plot. I'm going to make her think something that's not true. That's like real old school villain.
I am wondering when this came out in relation to this JoJo season of Bachelor. It was probably filmed either at the same time or before, right? Because there were some behaviors exhibited by Drew that were like very Rod-like, and again, like it's not like he was the first villain either, but like this like wacky showmanship that went alongside, like this bro-y showmanship that went alongside being like this obvious villain behavior, like felt very, I don't know, there were nothing nearly as like
but it's not
gross.
It's not like Rod wrote the book on being a TV show villain.
There was some shit Drew does later on where like he has this entrance when the rest of the boys are hanging out.
No, I know
like,
what you're talking about.
And like does like a little stunt to like show off and make all the rest of the boys laugh. And it felt, I don't know, it felt very, I don't know. Rod was also apparently, and let's just like get past this real fast, was apparently on the after show for this episode of Bachelorette Canada.
No, it's the next one.
Bachelorette Canada.
He's going to be
Bachelorette. No,
he's going to be on the next one. And that's why several Rose Buddies have launched a Twitter campaign. It's like Rose Buddies against Rod, I think is the hashtag.
That we need to protect the fucking borders and like contain. Rod is our fucking problem.
Yeah.
Canada should not have to suffer him. Did you see the news, baby? By the way, speaking of protecting our borders, they just announced there's going to be a Bachelor Japan.
I heard that, and it's going to be on Amazon.
Fuck yeah, I didn't see that.
I think so, because everyone's been asking us in the group if we're going to cover it, and I think it's going to be on Amazon.
Dude, even if we don't cover it, I'm going to watch every second of that. Are you kidding me? That is going to be my jam. It is going to be a
unless they like
morsel.
Immediately leave the country.
I guess so, but yeah, I don't know. Man, I'm going to be so into that. Anyway, okay, back into it.
Okay, so the guys, after they've learned the choreography and developed their signature dance move, take it to the streets in their, quote, yard swag, which involves various hats, gold chains, accessories that have zippers on them.
Terrific.
And sunglasses for a lot of them.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I don't want to blow right through it. What do you think your signature dance move is?
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'll just describe it. I'm watching you, and I'll just describe what you do and say whether or not I've seen you do it before and whether or not it's bullshit.
This is a good question because this is actually something that I got called out on when I was in high school, I think.
Oh, okay.
By my friend's little brother.
And you're still rocking this move?
I don't think I am. I don't think it was ever real, but it seems like something I would do. Okay, so we called it the bewildered monkey.
Oh, Jesus.
It involved putting like both my hands up and kind of moving back and forth like this.
Oh, no, baby. You definitely still do that. So you've got basically, you're kind of miming it a little bit. Like you have your hands up like you have a flat wall in front of you. Yeah. And you're just kind of like rocking your shoulders back and forth.
And my mouth is open. That's where
your mouth is definitely open. Yeah, that's just to let people know that you're like having a good time dancing. I think mine is probably the like where I put my hand on my chest and like push my rib cage out and like pop it, you know?
Yeah, but that one I feel is recent. That's since I've known you.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't dance before I met you. You taught me how.
That's not true, and I know
You
it.
taught me everything I know about dancing. Actually, that move is definitely a Dance Central move.
It is a Dance Central move.
And I don't think I played that game before we met, so really.
I know that you used to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious what you used to do.
I mean, I would just sort of a get the hands up and like fucking feel just like let the music just like wash over me. But mostly nowadays it's pushing my chest in, popping it out, pushing it in, popping it out. People love that shit. People love it.
Playing the air sax.
Well, yeah, but only to songs that have saxophone in it. Thank you, Miss Jepson, again for the influx.
Can I post that picture of you playing the air sax in the Rose Buddies group?
Oh, at Pete's wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay, I think people would.
But that was Careless Whisper, and you can't blame me for that.
I think people would really enjoy it.
No, it wasn't. That was Run Away With Me.
Was it?
That was absolutely, yeah, that was the one song we requested for Pete and Eva's
I thought
wedding.
they didn't play it. I thought we got
No, they
upset
did.
that they didn't actually play Carly Rae.
I think they did. Anyway, sorry, this is for absolutely nobody but me and Rachel. But tough shit.
So this is when we get to see the guys. The guys all do the choreography. It looks terrible. And then we see their signature dance moves. Mike, I wrote down Mike was one of my favorites. He described it as eating a banana in a, quote, rhythmic
Yes.
way.
Yes.
That was the best.
Holy shit.
That was so good.
God, I love Mike. I feel like Mike is kind of falling off just a little bit, right? Like he after that first episode, you got the FIP, or the fur, the first impression rose. I was like, for sure. I thought for sure he was going to get it.
He's still a force, though. They have a little
He's still
chat.
a force, I guess so. Yeah, his banana eating was fucking fantastic.
Thomas does a dance move that involves his hair as a featured
Thomas.
part, which is not surprising. JP does some flips that he calls the happy roll. And Benoit does basically what is twerking. And Jasmine comments that she can see all of his butt sweat.
That was rough. Yeah, he did like a lay on his back twerk situation, and I could see his butt sweat. And it was, but she made it sound like the sentence should have gone, I could see all of his butt sweat, so of course I'm going to send him home this week because it was kind of gross. But I just saw his butt sweat. How funny. Was it? I don't want to see anybody's butt sweat.
Yeah, I don't even think we saw Josh's butt sweat, and we saw all of his other sweat.
And we saw all the other sweat that he had in his body. I mean, unless some of his butt sweat kind of splashed up and got on his shirt, which is entirely possible.
And then Drew does his dance move that he calls the swag boy, which was a decent dance move.
It was fucking really good. Damn
Yeah.
it, Drew. Damn it.
So then they go to a club that appears to be on the Sandals resort property called the Rabbit Hole, which is a speakeasy. And this is when the guys start to kind of talk smack about Drew, but they do it in like the politest way.
Yeah.
Sweet JP tells the camera that Drew is kind of a, quote, pickup artist.
Which is not an inaccurate way of describing
Yeah,
right?
it was
Like,
just
I would
so,
be
like-
surprised if he had not like studied directly under mystery at some point. Like I would not be surprised if that was his style.
It's just as far as insults go, it's a very tender insult, you know?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So Drew talks about his last relationship to Jasmine and says that he was engaged. And then Jasmine asks him how it fell apart. And he gives this really vague answer and then just says that, you know, I like to be dominant in a relationship. And then that was kind of
That's
all
what
we
every
heard.
potential suitor wants to hear is like, yeah, I was engaged, but it didn't work out because I wasn't dominant enough. Cool. Where do I sign for the Drew experience?
But she seems really kind of satisfied that he would talk about that.
Yeah.
And then the date gets interrupted. We find out that there is a new date card, and it is a one-on-one date with Kevin W.
At this point, David has gone 5 date cards
Yeah.
without getting
Exactly.
a date. And like, I didn't process it at first, but that's fucking crazy. That's like a lot of date cards to not get a date for. He said it was a Bachelor franchise first, which maybe it's true, but Jasmine, just let him die. Let him die, Jasmine. Why are you
I
stringing
don't
this man
understand.
along?
I'll talk more about this later, but I don't understand why she's like punishing him quite so much. You know, like she seems very suspicious of him. And I get where it's coming from, but I don't think I don't know. Maybe it's just a vibe that she gets. It just doesn't seem like he really deserves it.
No, I mean, it was a dumb goof he did.
Yeah.
Just let him die. Set him free.
So then we go back to the group date. Scott has a really awkward conversation with Jasmine.
Sheboygan, this combo was a rough one.
She keeps trying to start things like, tell me about your family. I heard you're the youngest. And he's like, yep, I am. And they giggle. And there's just nothing. They've got nothing.
It does not pop off here.
And then everybody that is not Scott is sitting on the couch and they're talking about how much they dislike Chris because Drew is
Not everybody's talking.
well,
like, not
Drew
everybody's
is
jumping in on this
leading the
combo.
conversation because they're talking about who they think's going to go home next. Specifically who they think, and I'm going to try and do a Canadian accent here. They're talking about
This won't be offensive.
they're talking about Chris and whether or not he is oat.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
They're like,
I love it though.
do you think Chris is oat next week? That was pretty good, right?
That wasn't bad. I guess it wasn't too offensive. Like, I genuinely adore those little sweet little eccentricities in their dialect.
I mean, this is not like groundbreaking material. I'm not bringing like a new heat. This is
No, I know. I just don't want to make our Canadian listeners feel uncomfortable because there's a sizable amount of Canadian Rose Buddies listeners, and like I've kind of loved them having this like new place in the group where they pop in. They're like, actually Saskatchewan. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm learning so much.
well. I feel like we need to give them ammunition every week, and so the ammunition this week, guys, is me trying to say "out" in a Canadian voice. So there you go, guys.
It's fun.
So anyway, so Drew tells us again why he is so different from Chris and how the differences bother him a lot.
I'm sorry. There's still no fucking justification for any of this.
I know. It seems
This thing just came out of fucking nowhere. It is the most contrived shit ever.
yeah, Drew's like, oh, can you imagine? Like, Jasmine doesn't want to hear about like chemical reactions. Like,
Maybe she does, dog. You don't know.
I know.
I do.
I know.
I want to hear that shit.
I know.
I'll date Chris's ass. No, I won't.
Please,
No, I won't.
please
date,
don't.
I won't date Chris's ass.
Or any part of him, actually.
Okay, I'll date that big, beautiful science brain. He's a good science boy.
There it is.
Yeah,
You
that
did
wasn't
it.
an adjective though. It's more of a noun. Anyway,
So she talks to Mike, and Mike thanks her for their first conversation where she revealed so much. And she tells us that she likes how much he knows himself and that she's very attracted to him. And there's kissing and hugging. And then Mike tells us, the viewer, he said, I did kiss her and I liked it. And I think she liked it too.
such a sweet boy.
I know.
I'm a big Mike fan. I hope
So
he makes it.
pure. If anybody's there for the right reasons, it's Mike.
I think Mike's there for the right reasons, though.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
I do. But too bad because the group date rose goes to Drew.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the Canadian Elon Musk or whatever the fuck his name is, who decided that one should get slung that way? That's what I want to know. Who's the Canadian woman from Unreal that was like, let's mix it up? Drew.
Yeah, I feel like there's been very little producer intervention, and I still can't really believe that there was in this case. I think Jasmine just really has fallen for it, you know?
Maybe. I mean, she's
He
so
talked
sharp. I don't think that's...
He talked about his engagement, though. You know how it is. You tell...
Yeah, you do get point. You do
Yeah.
move the chains when you open up like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't... I'll tell you the truth. I'm still really, really enjoying this, but the like Drew Chris combat shit is either the result of like some contrived bullshit or like kind of a bad edit where you don't see the inciting like events that led to this beef happening. So like anything with Drew, I'm just like suspect about.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's because American Bachelors may be hard.
No, that yes, we're definitely a lot more skeptical now because of that show.
Yeah, true. Bip though, Bip opened me up. Bip made me believe in love again. But everything in the core franchise, I'm just like, I don't know. Interesting.
It's interesting.
And also now that I'm a TV professional, like I could see behind the lines. You know what I mean? Like it's all just shot lists and sketches.
I was thinking we should call, well, it's probably late to name this segment since this is like your last week of filming, but we could call it like Griffin's Hollywood Minute, where you like reveal a little biz talk.
Yeah. Showbiz, Griffin's Showbiz Revealed.
Yeah.
Showbiz Secrets Revealed. I mean, I'm just because I'm not on the set doesn't mean I've stopped being a showbiz professional. Now I'm a showbiz professional for life.
Okay.
So we can keep this segment going.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do you have for us this week?
This week you saw the boom dropping a shot, and I bet you that sound engineer probably got a real talking to from the DP.
Okay, that sounds like a thing.
Yeah, so just keep an eye out for that boom. You won't see it again because that guy is gone. He was fired from the show.
Did you really see a boom this week?
Absolutely not. I was only kind of watching.
Oh.
It's hard doing it by yourself when it's 8 a.m. and you're not drunk.
I mean, two of the three I've been doing for a while now.
I know. No, I did watch it. It was just, I watched it and then, Showbiz Magic happened for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then here we are. Bob's your uncle.
Okay, so back to the show.
Yes.
This is when Drew celebrates his victory in front of the rest of the boys. He kind of he comes out last. They're like all sitting around the pool and he comes out and has, quote, a cocky walk, makes a big entrance, falls into the pool. And
he does like a backwards, cross motion with his arms and just falls backwards into the pool.
Because somebody's oh, hey, it's the man of the hour. And then he really hams it up.
So then he climbs out of the pool and he goes and grabs a bottle of champagne and he's like, champagne, perfect. And he chugs a bottle of champagne and then sprays it all over the boys. And he says, I guess that other bottle was, the boys were supposed to drink that. Oops. And it was like, if that dude had done that shit and I was one of the other boys, sitting here watching this guy who just walked in and was like, what's up? It's me. And then threw himself in the pool and chugged a bottle of champagne and then sprayed us with a bottle of champagne. I'd be like, dog, what are you doing? What is this? What's this bit, bud? This is kind of a crazy bit you've got going on. This wild and crazy guys bit you're doing, it's kind of crazy that you're doing that right now.
Yeah, it felt really really performative.
Yes, this is a lot of prop comedy you're doing in a row, my man. Did you say everybody sit still for 3 minutes while I do my fucking routine? Dog, that shit was crazy.
I kept waiting for him to do the thing where you wrap your arms around yourself. Wait, let me demonstrate because we're on Skype.
Oh, and do a kiss. Yeah. And you're yes, absolutely. Make it look like you're making out with yourself. And then he goes behind the bar and does a fake staircase thing. Doing a fucking episode of Mork and Mindy. Yo, dog, did you just tell everybody to sit still while you did your whole shit? Because nobody else was doing anything but watching you do this routine. It was so whack, my dude.
And then
it was crazy.
And then he says that he's going to get, quote, lit today.
Okay.
Because he's already got a rose. He's got nothing going on. And then he makes a little jab at David and says, hey, David, you should come to my place with Jasmine and serenade us when this show's over. So
okay, good.
So it was just a lot at once.
Mansies. That was actually one moment, and I'm not joking about this. This is Griffin's Showbiz Secrets Revealed. If I was a producer on this part, And Drew was like, yeah, just start shooting. I've got about 5 minutes of good material lined up. I'd be like, okay, Drew, have fun with it. I guess that was usable. You did like a pool stunt and then you chugged the bottle of champagne, so you can't do that again. And then you sprayed it and you told a joke about it. And then you did another joke. And then you pulled everybody's pants down. That was kind of cool, I guess.
And then you did like some kind of ground hump for like 15 minutes.
You did a ground hump for a really, really long time. You recreated the wood shop dance from Magic Mike XXL in its entirety. That was pretty wild, I guess. You put a fire extinguisher in your mouth and set it off, and like that was. I thought you were going to hurt yourself really bad when you did that.
And then some really, really sexually accurate balloon animals, which
you did like balloon animals, and then you ate a whole jumbo shrimp cocktail by yourself. And it's like, what if we need to do like pickup shots of this later? Like, you can't keep eating shrimp cocktail and chugging wine. Man, what a fucking goober.
Yeah. So it's time for the one-on-one date with Kevin. They're going in a helicopter.
Hello.
Which is exciting.
There's my old bladed friend. Do you think when that happened, Mikhail was like, oh,
I know.
You betrayed me, my oldest friend.
The thing about this, too, is that, so this is Captain Canada. This is the ex-military firefighter, Kevin. And he's actually been in a helicopter before, and says the last time he was in a helicopter, he jumped out of one into the ocean.
Jesus. Oh, we need to mention Mikhail real quick. We got confirmation from the source.
From Jasmine herself.
From Jasmine herself, who tweeted at me that, quote, I can confirm said nipple garnish. And like, Jasmine, that is the funniest and best way to explain that. So yes, it was Mikhail's nipple. Not sure why there's definitely some nipple-based continuity errors with that nipple garnish, but thank you for the confirmation, Jasmine.
Somebody in the Rose Buddies Facebook group got like a real tight picture, and it's just like a little barbell that goes through the nipple, so it looks like...
Give me a second. I'm going to get that JPEG pulled down. I've got a new desktop background.
So it looks like he has like a human nipple and then like a metal nipple on either side.
A cyber nipple, full. It's got. It's
very subtle. Port. It's tasteful.
Yeah.
It's tasteful.
So yeah, they get in this helicopter and just like start macking.
Yeah. They're both wearing black Converse, which is kind of a cute coincidence.
That was really funny. Yeah.
But
by the way, I need new shoes. Those Puma, you know how we got matching Pumas.
Oh yeah, you got
Kong.
a hole
My
in them.
shit has fallen the fuck apart while I've been here.
Oh, Griffin.
It is embarrassing. It is literally clown shoes.
They get caught in a storm, and she says she feels safe with him. And then they kiss for a while, and then the sun comes out. And then for a little lunchtime snack, they go to a restaurant that is called the, quote, Ultimate Jerk Center. Did you notice that?
No.
They have jerk chicken, and the restaurant is called the Ultimate Jerk Center.
That is an alternate title for the TV show The Bachelorette.
I know. This sent me down a loop because I was thinking, they filmed this. Did they know it was funny? Maybe jerk isn't an insult in Canada. And then one of the guys later uses the word jerk. So I know that's not true.
Shit, that's funny. God, I can't believe I missed that. That is amazing.
It's pretty
Why
good.
couldn't that have been on a group date with like multiple boys getting like burnt up with that shit?
Yeah.
Do you like jerk chicken? I've never been a big fan.
Why don't you like it?
I don't know. It's just not my favorite kind of spice.
The seasonings don't work for you?
The seasonings don't really do it for me. I also feel like there's kind of a sweetness in it sometimes. And like, I don't fuck with that. My sweet lives over here. My savory lives over here. My spicy lives over here. My sour lives over there. Do not mix them shits up.
Griffin will not accept pineapple on a pizza.
Absolutely not. Some exceptions, obviously, like sweet and sour chicken. Hello, that's a good fusion. But like most of the time, get the pineapple, cardinal sin. Get that out of here. Pineapple on a ham, go bone yourself. No way.
Huh. That's disappointing to me because I like the mix.
Honey ham? Absolutely not. No.
What about like a tacos al pastor that has marinated pork
with like if there's like a little
marinated pork and pineapple?
If it's like a little bits of pineapple, I can deal with it.
Okay.
But it's not ideal for me.
Okay. Well, I guess that's one thing we don't have in common.
We found it.
There it is.
This is the inverse of Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Is this our first fight?
This is our first fight. I
On
think
air?
jerk chicken isn't very good.
And see, I think it's pretty good. I don't even think it's like exquisitely good. I'm not willing to really put a flag in the ground on this.
It seems like it's actually your favorite food right now.
Okay, so this is the coolest date ever because after they finish eating chicken, they go to caves and they like eat dinner in like a little cave grotto.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's bats, which isn't great, but the caves
Which
look...
Captain Canada did not love. That
No,
there were
he did
bats
not
here.
like the bats. He didn't like have to overcome his fear of bats, but he did not enjoy the bats.
I don't get people who go down into caves and are afraid of bats are here, and aren't afraid of like a cave in crushing them and getting trapped in the cave. Because that's I will never go in another cave probably ever again.
Oh no?
I don't prefer it. If somebody asked me to eat jerk chicken in a cave, I would hit them with my car.
Griffin, I like caves.
We went in a cenote once, and it was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. But I don't want to go spelunking deep down on a cave.
Oh, yeah,
I saw
no.
that. I saw that movie, The Descent. You seen that flick? The horror
No, I
movie
haven't.
where all the women go spelunking, and like there's a cave in, and there's monsters down there. No way, dog. No thanks.
No, Missouri has a lot of caves, but the tours of the caves are they're very safe. And some of the caves, in fact, have paved floors, so you're not fearful while you're in there.
Once on a church trip with our youth group, we went out to our pastor's farm. It was cool. It was a fun trip, but we went down into a cave. But it wasn't like a cave that you go to as part of like an attraction. It was just like a wild ass cave that was out back behind their farm. We went in there, just turned our flashlights off, and just sat there in the dark for like 5 minutes. It was chill as hell. I like that a lot, actually. Maybe I do like caves. Thanks, baby. You really turned me around on caves.
You just got to give them a chance.
You're right.
Caves are like the Evan of rock formations.
Yeah,
You know?
once you get down deep in them.
Well,
Well, this was a fun date. They explored a lot of different sort of
I thought it
sea
was a really
levels.
cool date.
Yeah, you get the sky, you get the ground, and when you're on the ground, you eat chicken, and then you go below the
You
ground,
go underground.
and then you eat fourth meal, I guess, because you definitely had dinner with the chicken stuff.
No, the chicken was lunch.
Oh, right, okay, that was nice of her to plan out all of his meals for the day.
I know.
They had bagels in the helicopter.
No, that's not true.
What happened next? I like Captain Canada, by the way.
Yeah,
I kind of like him.
He says that he has a history of being kind of a serial first dater.
Yeah. Who did I can't remember if it was you or somebody I watched the last episode with who said he looked like somebody. He looks exactly like somebody.
It was not me. I said he looked like a hockey player, but I didn't identify who. Somebody in the Rose Buddies group speculated, but I can't remember who they identified.
There was somebody who thinks, no, I can't remember. I'm not going to pull it. Handsome, though. Handsome as the devil.
Jasmine says that she's never dated a guy that all the ladies love before. Which I thought was kind of sweet. It was kind of a Mikkel moment of like, I'm not used to being with somebody very attractive, and this is exciting.
That's fair, yeah.
And then Kevin tells the story about his brother. Do you remember this story?
Yes, his brother got stabbed.
His brother got drafted to be on the Mets. And then he went out to celebrate in their hometown and got stabbed. And it was really emotional for Kevin because he'd always been compared to his brother and felt like he wasn't good enough to take over for his brother if anything happened. And then his brother recovered, but he couldn't play baseball. It's a very dark story.
Yeah, it's super dark. Like, kind of surprising too, right? Because it happened in Canada.
Oh, Griffin.
I'm just saying.
Bad stuff happens all over.
I know it does. I'm not that naive. But just a random stabbing?
Well, I don't think it was random.
Oh, what do you think it was? Like a Yankees fan?
Well, no, because they said that his brother was out and his friends were like, hey, look out, man. You better start running. There's somebody, like, it seemed like it was somebody that knew him and was after him in particular.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Damn. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot of CSI there, babe.
Yeah. I should Google it. Oh my gosh. Let's do some research on that.
It was a horrifying story. And like, he was talking about how like he always looked up to his brother and was like really worried that when he got stabbed that like he wasn't going to be son enough to his parent. Like there was a lot to unpack there, but his brother is okay. He doesn't play baseball anymore, but like at least he's okay. That's good.
Yeah. So he gets a rose from Jasmine, and then it's time for the group date. And on the group date is Michael, Kyle, Andrew, Kevin P, and David. And David celebrates and literally says, "I'm on a date."
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like a group date.
Yeah.
There was also a moment that I don't know that we talked about where on the first group date announcement, Drew was like, I don't even want to go on a group date. David, do you want to take? Man, if this had been the fucking, Jubilee pulled that shit and got like her game salted by the other women in the house. So like, I'm surprised that all the dudes were like willing to let that slide the way they did.
No, they called him on it.
They called him on it, but they didn't rat him out
they didn't.
To Jasmine.
Well, it doesn't seem like that kind of group, at least not yet. Although there's teasers for the next episode suggesting that maybe.
Man, after episode 2, I was so psyched. I was like, oh, a whole season without rat bags or piss kids. Ooh, the slope though. Ooh, it's getting what's this on the slope? Is this jelly? It's getting a little slippery, isn't it? The slope is.
Well, more sticky, I would say.
It's KY jelly. It's lubricant.
Oh, Griffin.
Well, you asked me what the jelly was.
No, I didn't. So Chris isn't going on a date this week.
Sorry, Chris.
Which Drew is very excited about.
Probably because the date was at a school and they don't let bomb makers, they don't let explosive saboteurs into like elementary schools.
So all these guys are on the date. We get a funny moment where Kyle is sitting in a little kid's chair.
Holy shit, Kyle, my dude.
They make the comment that maybe he's not actually sitting, but he's just in fact in a deep squat.
You know all these Facebook videos of people like making lasagna for a hamster and they just use like ridiculously tiny cooking. First of all, keep that shit up, people making those videos.
Yeah, we love those videos.
But it also seemed like a regular sized person wandered into the set of one of those hamster cooking videos and just like started fucking with their shit. Because this seat, man, I was worried it might go in him somehow.
Like it might still be in him today.
I was worried that a prong of this chair was going to get, I don't want to be crude because Kyle's a fan, but there was some worry there. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay, Kyle.
We are. Yeah, you had a really great date. We would have picked you.
Absolutely. This was Jasmine. You did a great job. This was your first foolish choice.
So the guys have to make art with little kids, and whoever makes the best art with the kids gets more one-on-one time. And so this is when Kyle has this kind of sweaty glitter dance party with some of the kids, which is really cute.
It's very cute, but also Kyle, my man, not the point of the date. You are not going to win with that attitude. Eyes on the prize. Make some art. He says, I'm dancing because there's really no difference between dance and art. And it's like, Kyle, there's an explicit difference. She asked for her physical painting.
Mikkel is nervous, and he has kind of a reaction to the kids that I have when I'm in a group of kids, which is that he's a little intimidated. Because I feel like kids know if you're not like a particularly interesting or fun person, you know?
Sure.
And I always worry that I'm going to spend some time with some kids and they're going to be like, "You're really boring, Miss Rachel."
I mean, I feel like we have the same impulse in that I just don't want to embarrass myself around kids. I don't want to make myself seem like an idiot to the kids. And that in and of itself is enough to make me like screw up. Because I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't treat you like a little kid. Like, that's probably not what you want. So I'll just like treat you like an adult. And then I do that. And they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I know. That's kind of what Mikkel does. But I mean, the kids still like him. He's just like, he's no Kyle.
I don't think there was anybody who had like bad interactions with the kids.
No,
there was one little girl with the braids with the pigtails. She had me rolling.
Oh, are you talking about Amira?
Amira was fantastic.
She's real funny. She was the one that was talking about her concentrate face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really good.
That was good stuff.
So this is when Jasmine kind of unloads that she's worried David is here to showcase his talents and wishes that he could just be himself. And she says all of this because he tells the kids he's with that he's a musician and that they should incorporate him being a musician into their artwork.
As if he's like, yo, Jamaican school kids, download my mixtape. It's fire. And if you know anybody who is like a producer, if you could like hook me up, that would be sick.
If you could write out the name of my single in this arting that you're doing.
Paper the town with it. Yeah.
So let's see. So then all the guys present the art that they've made. And she's frustrated that David's art has to do with his singing. She's like, oh, here we go again. Which, I mean, all right. I like, we've seen people on the show for the wrong reasons. And, David doesn't strike me as that person. But, maybe we're not seeing something.
I mean, it's just like the dude's narrative thread at this point. So I think everybody's just kind of leaning into it.
So she picks the other Kevin for the one-on-one part. Like
the deckhand. She
is riding those Kevins like every week. She's a huge Kevin fan.
She's up in Kevin heaven.
Yeah.
That wasn't that good.
Will you sing the song?
Kevin heaven.
There it is.
It's the theme song to Kevin heaven.
Kevin heaven.
Which is the new Kevin James TV show.
Oh, Griffin, no.
It is.
No.
No, it's called Kevin Can Wait.
That's so good.
It really is. That is. It's not. It's so good. That's what the TV show's called.
That's so good.
Well done, Kevin James. You can really turn a phrase, my man.
All dogs go to Kevin.
I mean, that's very good, but it's important for me that you understand there's really a TV show called Kevin Can Wait.
Are you serious?
Yeah, babe.
No.
And it's WEIGH. That's a lie. But there is a TV show called Kevin Can Wait. It's on CBS.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's real. It's a real deal.
Okay. So then for their one-on-one part, we have another scenario where it's raining, and so they can't do whatever it was she had planned. So they just sit on a hotel balcony, and they just have a deep chat between the two of them. And this is when Kevin tells a story about his niece. And this made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about how he's been on the road a lot, but he's not sure, he wasn't ready to settle down, but now he kind of wants to have kids, and part of it is because he's been spending so much time with his niece. And then he's like, actually, my niece went with us when we were going to the airport, and his niece, who's 4.5, says, Uncle Kevin, are you going away because you're scared to love?
It's kind of a crazy thing for, it didn't happen, right? Like, that didn't.
Like, I don't know. Unless that kid.
Are you going away because you're scared of love? That's a pretty big logical leap you've made there, niece.
Unless the kid, watches a lot of Dr. Phil. Like, I can't figure out why that phrasing would ever happen. That kind of grossed me out a little bit.
Unless everybody in his extended family is a soft boy like Kevin is. Have you noticed this about Kevin? Kevin is kind of my new ASMR trigger. Because everything he says is way down here. And it's all delivered with this tone of voice. And
I never noticed that.
I can't believe he's a deckhand and not like an NPR VJ. That's what they're called at NPR, right?
I know, uh-huh. No, that's for sure. Terry Gross is perhaps the most famous NPR DJ.
I mean, Ira Glass is a really good VJ.
This is when I noticed... Okay, so he gets the rose. But I noticed he wears a lot of bracelets.
Who does? Kevin? Deckhand?
Yeah. He's got 4 on one wrist and 3 on the other. A lot of bracelets.
Didn't notice.
Yeah. So before the cocktail party, Drew kind of instigates this thing with Chris, where Chris is talking about how he's going to try and get some time with Jasmine because he didn't get a date this week, and Drew's like, "Oh man, you should ask her about her 5-year plan." And then he like stage whispers to Captain Canada next to him, like, "Yeah, she'd totally hate that. Like, there's no way can you imagine? She wouldn't want to talk about her 5-year plan." Like, he'd come in like, "Oh, what's your 5-year plan?"
Dog, what are you saying? This isn't even a bit. He just thinks that a lot of his stuff is just going to be absolute gold.
Yeah.
An absolute golden dunk.
And Chris knows what's going on at this point. He knows that Drew is messing with him.
Like, his reason for bullying him is so insubstantial that he has to make up fake things that he didn't say and then drag him for the things that he didn't say. Like, he has to script lines that he said and then, like, make fun of those lines as if he said them. It's insane.
Yeah, it's like before he came, he watched a bunch of 80s movies about, like, villains on ski slopes and, like, just co-opted some of their moves.
Yeah. This chair, Justin sits in this chair usually when he records podcasts, and it makes a noise sometimes, and I get so frustrated about the noise, and because I think, like, Justin, like, is making the noise on purpose. It just made that noise, and now I feel like I should go apologize to my brother. It's horrible. It's unlistenable.
Do you want me to wait while you do that? I hear it. I do. I hear that noise.
I despise the noise. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry I just subjected you to it, audience.
So it's cocktail party time. And Mikkel makes a big move.
Yeah, it really swings for the fences.
That pretty much made, I have to imagine, everybody in this continent just fall in love with him. First, he like pulls her away and then immediately grabs her and kisses her. And then reveals this necklace he made for her out of coral.
It's a good necklace, too.
Yeah, it's a nice necklace. I feel bad that like she couldn't wear it the rest of the night because I'm assuming like
the other guys would be like, "Oh, it's a nice necklace. Who gave you that?"
Yeah, and they'd like rag on him. But I was impressed. He's like, "Yeah, I just like to make things, and I just saw this when I was thinking about you, and so I just made this necklace." And she's like, "I'm going to keep this forever." It was really sweet.
I want to know so much more about Mikhail. I'm hoping he gets a solo date soon because, like, I want to know how you get into being a helicopter doctor. I want to know what's going on with the nipple stuff.
Yeah,
he's so interesting. He's a fascinating individual. Mm-hmm. I want to know it all.
So then Chris tells us that he's hanging on by a thread, but that spiders hang on by a thread. So he's not worried about it.
What a fucking nerd. Let's get him. Let's cream him.
And this is when Chris talks to Jasmine about this generic nonprofit he started for kids. And that the kids would come and hang out, and that he designed video games for them to play. And it sounded like, hey, I started a nonprofit. It was in my basement and kids could come be kids and I made them play games. I don't know. I didn't like it. It weirded me out a little bit.
That actually sounds exactly like the kind of nonprofit that I would get into.
So I have a background in nonprofit, and it seems like everybody's always trying to start their own nonprofit as if completely reputable and safe organizations like the Boys and Girls Club don't already exist.
Sure.
He's like, "Oh, I'm going to start my own for kids where they can just be kids. Kids need a place like that where they can be kids. And then I'll make some video games and then maybe some flowers that light on fire. And
me and the kids will make some bombs together."
I don't know. It didn't win me over, but Jasmine liked it.
Well, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And so Chris comes back from his talk and he's pretty satisfied with how it went. And then Drew is bummed that he is satisfied. And then there's like a series of steals that happen where it's like JP talking to her and then Mike interrupts and then Scott interrupts Mike. And then Kevin W., who already has a rose, interrupts Scott, and this is scandal.
And guys, it happens every season. Like, people need to stop treating this shit like it's the first time anybody's ever done it.
Yeah, it's like, why would somebody that already has a rose want any time with her?
So if you want to win the game, you got to get in the game.
Kyle calls out Kevin and is like,
He sure does,
like,
in a big way.
makes a thing out of it. And Kevin is like, hey, I'm not gonna not talk to her.
I can get why you'd be upset about it, right? But like,
Yeah.
just don't treat it like nobody's ever done this move before, because it literally happens every season.
Well, you're just nervous and you feel like desperate,
Sure.
you know. And this is when, so it's time for the rose ceremony. And this is when I noticed Thomas. Because Thomas has what Griffin McElroy would call a lot of look.
Oh, what was he sporting? God, I really wasn't paying attention to the looks this episode.
He was wearing like a black pork pie hat. That's what they're called, right?
Like a stovepipe hat, like a top hat?
No, kind of like a fedora, but flat on top. Kind of like a Walter White black hat.
Yeah, pork pie. That's what they're called.
Okay. He's wearing a hat. He's wearing a gray vest with a black shirt and a gray tie, and he's got his hair down. And he's just standing in that group, the only man wearing a hat.
Maybe they have some sort of arrangement where only one of them can look completely different from the other bros.
It was really distracting to me because when I first saw him, I didn't recognize him because of the hat. He had kind of like a Chris Angel quality, and I was like, who's that guy? And then they kept showing him over and over again, and I was like, oh, that's definitely Thomas with a lot of look. But Thomas,
Are we at the rose ceremony?
Thomas doesn't have to worry because he gets a rose. So does Andrew. I don't know anything about Andrew, but Andrew gets a rose.
I feel like I don't know Andrew. I'd like to know him.
Mike gets a rose. Kyle, Mikkel, Chris, David, and Benoit get roses, which means Scott and JP are going home.
Scott, not surprising. They had a really bad convo. That, like, so bad that like minute 10 of the episode, I was like, okay, that's a series wrap on Scott.
Yeah.
JP, I feel like I don't know. He didn't really.
Yeah, they
didn't.
They didn't
Have
spark
a connection.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is when, after the rose ceremony, they all toast, and they find out their next destination, which is Montreal.
It's like, why are we doing it in this order?
I know. You have to imagine they're kind of bummed. Like, oh, we got to go to Jamaica.
Oh, cool. So, like, do you think that maybe they could only get the block of rooms at Sandals for, like, this specific weekend? So
Yeah, like they were going to
guys.
save it, but it was like this was the weekend that worked.
I guarantee you it was something like that. And that was the end of the episode.
Yeah, and we get a teaser for next week that there's going to be more issues with Chris and Drew.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. I still like it. It was a very like Bachelorette ass episode of Bachelorette. But I still like it. Still like I still like a lot of the boys. Still like Jasmine. I just like the feel of it. I'll be excited for them to get back in Canada because I think the instant jump to Jamaica, you kind of lose sort of the like some of the defining Canadian characteristics that I think we'll probably get back to.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, and yeah, we haven't been watching the after show. And we're definitely not going to watch the one with Rod.
Yeah, we're not going to start now, certainly.
It's definitely disappointing that he is scheduled to be on it, but you know, I don't think he's going away anytime soon.
Also, had a lot of people point out that he's going to be on the fucking
The Ben and Lauren.
Yeah.
Happily Ever After? Question mark.
Which is going to be, it's not even going to be on ABC. It's like on their, I don't know. I think it's like a deep satellite channel or a streaming channel or something like that. Like, we ain't going to watch that one for sure. Well, first of all, it's still early because we have a lot of Bachelorette Canada to watch, I think. But they just put up all of season 1 of Bachelor and season 1 of Bachelorette.
Yeah, they did.
For legal streaming. I'm not sure. I think it's just on abc.com.
Well, it's on their app. I know that much.
Okay. I would love, because I haven't seen those seasons.
Me neither.
I would love to dip into that shit.
Yeah, I think that might be a good option for us. I don't know if we want to do like a little palate cleanser in between.
I wonder what that would be.
Well, we have to figure out how many episodes we're committing to because I want to make sure we time it.
Is Prince Charming any good or whatever? What's the show called?
Finding Prince Charming.
Finding Prince Charming. My only stuff I've gotten from it has been following Glenn Weldon from Pop Culture Happy Hour. I think is the only person who I've seen do hot takes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like a great TV show.
Yeah, I heard that it's not especially great either. But I mean, we could maybe we watch the first episode.
Yeah.
And don't commit to the whole season. Because I want to see it. I
know. I've wanted like an LGBT like experience of the Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, maybe we should dip into that. But we are going to stick with Bachelorette Canada for the time being. Hope you all are having luck finding the episodes.
Oh, hey, and if you're a Canadian fan new to our podcast, please consider rating and reviewing us on iTunes.
Yeah. We sure do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about, babe?
I don't think so. I'm excited that you're coming home.
Me too. I've liked recording with you remotely. It's been a nice time to just like look at you on a webcam for an hour, but it'll be much better to be back in the old saddle.
Well, am I the old saddle in this?
I guess so. I'm sorry. It's so late here.
No, that's true.
Anyway, we'll see you next week for another episode of Rose Buddies to talk about Canadian Bachelorette. Until then, I'm Griffin McElroy.
I'm Rachel McElroy.
When you're ready.
But who will get the final rose? Stay with us on this journey of joy.
Spoiler alert.
She ends up with Soldier Boy.
Right